From today I am going to start a new topic, that is minerals. Today I will discuss in general about minerals and specifically about iron ore. After this lecture, you will be able to understand few topics such as types of minerals, about metallic minerals, non-metallic minerals, distribution of minerals and mining regions, ferrous metals such as iron ore, type of iron ore, distribution of iron ore, production of iron ore, and mining of iron ore different region wise such as in North America, USA. The vast majority on planet Earth experience life uniformed of what might be occurring underneath their feet, where it counts in planet Earth and possibly appreciate these cycles when they experience a geologic occasion like an earthquake or volcanic eruption. Notwithstanding, consistently, individuals will utilize normal items and utensils that are produced used minerals that are structured from the geologic cycle that are gradually and ceaselessly changing our planet. Accordingly, mineral deposits are critical assets that have been key supporters of advancement of society. Common cycles are answerable for the age of minerals. The earth inside, which is known in geography as endogenic, powers are gradually changing our planet where it counts and are driving the covering to move, the cycle of plate tectonics I can say. So, the subsequent drift of land masses and the related subduction and mountain building create geological condition that can prompt the development of mineral deposits. Magmas and liquids can think and move materials, fractures, permit liquids stream and at locales where the temperature, pressuring factors and signs of the climate might be adequately extraordinarily critical collection of a mineral can happen. Conversely, enduring and sedimentation are surface or in other words exogenic measures that are reshaping the outside of the planet. These cycles are disintegrating mountains and the subsequent material might be shipped somewhere else by one or other water or wind, where they consequently aggregate as residue. Materials in these silts like sand and dirt have been widely utilized by people since the beginning. Minerals give the material used to make the vast majority of the things of modern based society such as the streets, vehicles, fertilizers and so on. Interest for mineral is exploring worldwide as the population increment and the utilization request of distinctive individuals increment. A mineral store is a concentration of normally happening solid, liquid or gaseous material in or on the earth's covering in such a structure and some that its extraction and its change into helpful material or things are productive now or might be so later on. Mineral assets are non-inoxidable and incorporate metals, for example iron, copper and aluminium, and non-metal, for example salt, gypsum, sand, phosphorus. Minerals are important characteristics asset being limited and non-sustainable. They establish in the essential crude material for some fundamental ventures and are significant asset for advancement. The executive of mineral assets have therefore to be firmly incorporated with general procedure of advancement, and misuse of mineral is to be guided by long haul public objectives and point of view. So, after giving you a brief description about minerals and all the factors that contribute in the economy, let me explain you different types of minerals. Scientifically speaking, a mineral is an inorganic material having a defined chemical composition. Generally, all the minerals are crystalline. Some minerals such as diamond or car are composed of one element only, while most of the minerals are formed of two elements. So, minerals have several properties such as crystalline form, hardness, specific gravity, color, luster, transparency, streak, cleavage, etc. Mineralogists recognize more than 1,600 minerals, of which 200 are extracted from commercial and industrial purposes, and less than one-third of these are economically significant. The mineral materials are divided majorly into two groups, metal and non-metal. These two groups are subdivided into various classes on the basis of their usages. Let me explain you about the metallic minerals. There are four classes of metals. The first category is known as ferrous. Ferrous metals include iron, itself produced from hematite, magnetite, limonite and pyrite, used for the manufacture of iron and steel. Second category is known as ferroalloy. These include manganese, chromium, nickel, molybdenum, ferrous phosphorus, titanium, zirconium, tungsten, cobalt, boron, etc., used in making different special steels. The third category you can categorize as non-ferrous. These includes the minerals which are not containing iron ore, such as aluminium, copper, lead, tin, thorium, uranium, zinc, etc. And fourth category is known as precious metals. These includes gold, silver, platinum, etc. The metals have certain common characteristics and they have a special luster. They melt and fuse when heated to high temperature. They are malleable. They can be worked into any desired form. So, they have a certain degree of hardness, they can be welded, they have general strength and a high degree of elasticity. And that is the reason they are categorized into precious metals. They can be alloyed. For example, bronze is an alloy of copper and tin and brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Some of the metals are excellent conductor of electricity. Now, you may be thinking how non-metallic minerals are different from metallic mineral. Let me explain you. Non-metallic minerals are commonly divided into four groups. The first category is known as mineral fuel, such as petroleum, coal, natural gas, uranium and thorium, and are the most important group of minerals. The second group in this category is known as mineral fertilizer. You may be very well aware of nitrogen, phosphorus and potash, also used as chemicals. The third category is known as gemstones. Different type of stones such as ruby, diamond, emerald, that follows in this category. Earth materials such as gypsum, salt, sulfur, mica, clay, gravel, sand are also can be categorized into such category. So, after explaining different type of mineral, let me brief you about the distribution of minerals and mining. As in previous classes also I have explained that all the natural and anthropogenic factors are related to each other, and that's the reason in the beginning I told that minerals are formed because of different exogenic and endogenic factors. So, their distribution also varies. The mineral resources are widely and unevenly distributed. For instance, mineral fuels are found in the region of sedimentary rocks. Rough, not all the regions of sedimentary rocks have mineral fuels. In places such as metallic minerals like limonite, gold and platinum occur in sedimentary rocks, though they are genetically related to igneous and metamorphic rocks. In fact, mining of metal is an important activity in mountainous regions where much deformation of rock has taken place. The first in this regard is North America. The central plains from the Gulf of Mexico to Laurentian Shields contribute more than half of the total value of minerals mined in the USA and about 1/4 of that of Canada also. In comparison to that, petroleum, natural gases, coal, sulfur, potash, lead, zinc, gold, etc. also occurs here. The Appalachians are especially rich in coal, petroleum, iron ore and phosphate rocks. The Laurentian Shield is significant for iron ore, nickel, copper, uranium, gold, silver, lead, palladium, etc. Let me explain you the second distribution, which is distributed majorly in Eurasia. Eurasia region covers from United Kingdom and the Iberian Peninsula to East Central Siberia. Western Europe is rich in coal, iron ore, bauxite, salt, potash, etc., but it lacks in copper, lead, zinc, tin and alloys. And after this, the third comes the Southeast Asia, including India, China, Japan, Malaysia, Indonesia, etc. This region has sufficient output of earth minerals. India and China have sufficient coal, iron ore and variety of alloys. Malaysia and Indonesia have surplus of tin. Indonesian exports such as petroleum is known in this connection. Philippines export chromium and China exports tungsten. In addition to the whatever I explained, there are several other significant mining areas of the world also, such as Australia, Western South America, Brazilian highlands, Southwestern Asia, Southern Africa, Northern Africa and Western Africa. Iron ore is by far the most important metallic mineral. Others include ferrous metals, ferroalloys, non-ferrous metals and precious metals. Now let me explain you about the ferrous metals, in which iron ore the first one. The modern age of machine is synonymous with iron, as iron is used in all machines and as a tool, equipment, instruments, automobiles, building structures, bridges, etc. Iron is also synonymous with industrialization. It is a direct index of degree of industrial development. It's widely used because of its high strength, low bulk and low cost. It is versatile product which can be tailored to diverse and specific needs. It can be cast, hammered, rolled, drawn into wire, welded and combined with many other metals. That is the speciality of iron ore. Now let me explain you different types of iron ore. These are a number of minerals that contain iron. However, the chief ores of iron ore are oxides, hematite, magnetite and limonite, and the carbonate, siderite, etc. Taconite is not a mineral but a siliceous rock which contain an iron ore content of about 30%. Iron ore always contain impurities including alumina, lime, magnesia, silica, sulfur, titanium, arsenic, copper and phosphorus too. A small amount of time is useful while others are important or less undesirable. Phosphorus weakness the iron ore are classified in terms of their iron content. Really high grade ores contain 60% or more iron. With less than 40%, the ore is considered low grade iron. There are 4 major types of iron ore. The first one is hematite. Hematite is by far the most important because it contains nearly 70% of iron. It is mostly reddish. Some hematite is almost black or even blue. The second one is known as magnetite. Magnetite is the richest of the common iron minerals. It contains 72.4% of iron. The color is darker than that of hematite, varying from deep dark brown to blackish in color. The third category is known as limonite. Limonite or brown ore is the most common of the iron ideas. It is chemical compounds in which water is present in varying amounts. It is widely distributed over the earth and occurs in varying degree of hardness. And the fourth category in this connection is known as siderite. Siderite, which is known as FeCO in chemical terms, consists of iron, carbon and oxygen. It contains about 48% iron content. Now let me explain you the distribution of iron ore. Iron ore occurs in widely distributed areas in all the continents. However, nearly 90% of the world's known reserves of iron ore occur in 10 countries. These countries are India, Brazil, USA, Russia, China, France, Sweden, Ukraine, Venezuela and Australia. Iron ore are rocks and minerals that can be warmed within the site of a reductant to extracted metallic iron. Iron and steel business overall are dependent on these hotspots for essential iron material. A vast larger part of mined iron ore is then utilized in steel making. Iron ore minerals are for the most part found as hematite and magnetite. Australia and Brazil are among the world's biggest iron ore mine makers, creating 900 million metric tons and 400 million metric tons separately in 2020. In this way, iron ore safes are among the most elevated in Australia, with 24 billion metric tons of iron substance and 50 billion metric tons of rough ore starting at 2020. More than 90% of the Australia's distinguished asset dwells in Western Australia. 𝗪𝗏 province contains an enormous bit of this asset and is viewed as one of the world's biggest iron ore safes. The Pilbara locales in Western Australia has two significant makers, including BHP, Billiton and Rio Tinto Limited. Pilbara iron is an auxiliary of Rio Tinto gathering and has around 15 locales in the districts. Starting at 2011, Australia sent around 40% of the world's iron ore assets. Asia produces nearly 30% of the world's total iron ore, South America 24%, Australia 16%, Europe 14%, North America 11% and Africa 5% contributes in the descending order. Now let me explain you a little bit on mining of iron ore in North America, USA. In the USA, iron ore is mined in 4 major areas. About 3/4 of the ore comes from the Lake Superior region and remainder from the northeastern, southeastern and west. Lake Superior region. You might be aware of this particular lake. This region comprises northeastern Minnesota, Michigan and northern Wisconsin states. The Mississippi Vermilion and Coquillana ranges of Minnesota and the 𝗂𝗵𝗂𝗪𝗂𝗂 and Menominee ranges of Michigan are Wisconsin are the main iron ore producing ranges. The Mississippi range is the most important, where most of the ore is hematite. Besides hematite, smaller quantities of magnetite are also produced. The ore have a high iron content, often over 55%. There are also very extensive deposits of taconite, which can be treated to be made into pellets with a high iron content. The second region is known as Northeastern region. The region includes 2 principal areas of iron ore production, the Adirondacks region of New York and the Cornwall area of Pennsylvania. Magnetite is the principal ore found in this region. It has relatively high market value because of its quality and accessibility to the markets. Now let me explain you the third region, that is known as the Southeastern region. The region comprises the mining areas of Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. Hematite and limonite are principal ores. The region enjoys the proximity to the coking coal of the Appalachian Plateau. Fourth region in this connection is known as the Western region. The region extends from the Missouri state to the Pacific coast. Utah and Nevada are the principal iron ore producing states. Until 1950, the USA was the world's largest iron ore producer, contributing nearly one-third to the world's total. However, with the competition from other countries, curtailed domestic production and import of steel, the country's share has declined to less than one-tenth of the world's total. The USA now produces about 40 million tons of iron ore annually, which is nearly 7% of the world's total output. Imports in recent years increased considerably. Canada, Venezuela, Chile, Peru, Brazil are the main supplies. Looking at the important uses of minerals for the development of a country, it becomes imperative to understand the types and distribution of these minerals all around the world. This chapter focused on the importance and types of minerals and discussed in details about the iron ore mineral in detail.